Okay, can everyone hear me? Can you guys hear the music too? Is it too loud? Let me know how everything sounds. I see lots of familiar people in the chat. Hello. I wanted to type, but I just don't have a setup where I can access my keyboard. So I can't respond in the chat, but I'll respond like this. Music is fine. Hi, Sky. Hi, Alyssa. Hi. Cyan Doodles, is that how I pronounce your name? Is it Cyan, or is there a different way to pronounce it? Francie. Paranga. Can I call you Paranga? Hello everyone. Grappy. Kara Marines. Hello, Abby. Okay, I think I've said hi to everyone. Garden Table, hi. Okay, wonderful. So today I'm going to be painting another portrait for the 100 Heads Challenge, and it is the last day to purchase my brush set at a reduced price. So if you haven't already, now is a great time to go ahead and order a brush set. We have the live stream only 5% off. There we go. Hi Hot Pockets, Anita, Mito, hello. The high ones, hello. Okay, wonderful. Okay, I think everything looks good. Okay. So I have my reference here and I put it in the description this time. Let me know if that link works okay. I know it's to the Canadian Pinterest, so I don't know how that whole thing works, but if you guys want to see the reference, it should be linked below. Yay, hello everyone. I just posted to my Instagram, so we might have a few more people coming in. Hi Priya. Okay. My dog Luna's beside me and she's itching right now, so if you hear any weird noises, that's Luna. Yeah. Hi Lou. Okay, so I think this time last time I didn't do like an under wash, but this time I'm gonna do like a little wash to give myself something other than white to paint on top of. Oh, and if you were here for my last stream, you can see I've painted more on this portrait. I think I'm gonna call it done for now. It's not perfect, but for just a 100 heads painted sketch, I think it's okay. I had a bunch of like smudge marks from my wrist, my hand, so I just made it into confetti. Oh, yeah, Craftamo. Yay, they reactivated the 5% discount for the live stream only. And you get an additional 5% off. Okay. Hi, Abby and Will. Hello. Thank you so much, Sky. Aiko? I hope I'm saying Aiko0020. I literally just woke up and then remembered the live stream. Thank you for coming. Oh, yay, Abby. I'm happy you got to join this one too. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do like an orangey underpainting for this. I apologize that you can't really see the sketch too well. But, oh, hold on. I have like a second screen here and I paused it. I just want to make sure that nothing goes wrong and I can see what you guys see. Okay. So I think I'm gonna do like a burnt sienna orangey underpainting here. And last time was my first live stream, so I really struggled like balancing communicating with you guys and also painting. Oh, Ultramarine, hi! So this time I think I'm gonna like take little breaks where I don't respond to the chat and I just paint. But we'll see how that goes. I just get so excited to talk to you guys. And if you guys want to know what the colors are in my gouache palette, I've got it here. I don't know how clear it is, but I've got Prussian blue, primary blue, horizon blue, cobalt turquoise light, permanent green light, linden green. This one's really fun. It's like a super bright green. Neutral gray 8 by Turner, burnt umber, deep violet, ultramarine deep, light blue, lilac, brilliant pink. These two are Holbein, opera rose, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, primary red, cadmium red, orange lake deep. I might take this one out. It's a very powerful color. Cadmium yellow deep, cadmium yellow, and lemon yellow, and Naples yellow. So that's the whole palette. Oh yay, I got your name right. Courtney, hello. I'm looking at getting a new watercolor set. Is there any you recommend? I've been looking at the retro set you reviewed but wondered if anyone had any options. The Schmincke retro set is really nice, but the colors are a little muted. Not muted, but I don't remember. I haven't used it since that video, to be honest. But I think there was something that was missing from the set, and so it made all of the colors a little more muted, which kind of works for a retro set, but if you want like a good set that just has everything you need, I've been using, hold on. Here we go. I've had this little white night set forever. I think they changed the layout of, like, I think it's a different palette, but I've been using this set forever, and I replaced 2 of the colors with a lilac and a lavender, but I really like it. Hey Emily, have you decided how long? Yeah, ultramarine, I think I'm gonna aim to do maybe 2 hours. We'll see. Craftamo will be here for you. Thank you. Yay, okay. So I'm gonna paint. Let's get going. So I'm gonna do a wash with my 1-inch brush here and just give myself a nice toned backdrop for the painting. I think I'm just gonna do like a box here, and then the portrait can kind of peek out from that. Okay, now my sketch is super hidden, but that's okay. I can still see it. I don't think you guys can see it. I can see it a little bit. And I'm gonna use my blow dryer, but I'm gonna mute my microphone for a moment, so bear with me. Okay. Hopefully that worked and you didn't hear the super noisy blow dryer. Oh yes, we have 110 sets remaining from the limited run of 300 units. Today is the last day to take advantage of the discount during the launch. The set is increasing by $10 USD today, yes, and you also get the additional 5% off if you're interested. Okay, I'm gonna just like go over this sketch a little bit here before we go in with the paint. And I saw a couple questions there and I will get to them, but just gonna take a second to get this in. I think just like recording yourself while doing art is one challenge that I've gotten over, and then like live streaming while doing art is another new thing I gotta get used to, but it's really fun. I don't know if anyone was able to access the reference photo down below. I hope that link works. Sometimes I post a Pinterest link and people are like, I can't see it. And sometimes it works, but I don't know. There's just a few landmarks I just want to make sure I have an understanding of before going in with the paint. Sometimes I like to exaggerate an ear. I like making ears a little bit bigger sometimes. I think ears are just really fun. And they have so much character. I think I'm happy with that for just a really basic sketch to get the landmarks in. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the number 6 round brush from the set in a moment, but I'm gonna go through and just answer or respond to some comments first. Okay, I answered the watercolor set. I'm very excited to get your brush set. My fall winter painting goal is to finally get comfortable in gouache. Oh, Alyssa, that's awesome. Yeah, gouache is like it was a hurdle for me to get comfortable with. But once you get to know each other, then it's just such a wonderful medium. And Will, on your last stream, you recommended value studies if you want to get into gouache. I started 100 Heads Challenge last week, and I can already see improvement in my work. Oh, that's so amazing to hear. Yes, I definitely recommend doing value studies when you're starting out, really with any medium. Just because, oh, I hope you can't hear that. There's landscapers outside, and they're using some sort of power tool. But yeah, with any medium, it's great to just eliminate the challenge of color just to get used to how the medium works. Just focus on values. And I do value studies all the time. And I'm really glad you noticed improvement. I've noticed so much improvement since I started this challenge. Like, if I go back, like these are okay, but I just think my more recent ones are a lot better. The first ones are really, really bad. So when I started the challenge, I thought I would do oil paintings, gouache paintings, watercolor, like just change it up. So this is actually in oils. And I have a video way back on my channel doing this. And I don't know, I'm just like, wow. I think I've improved a lot since this one. And also, I let it dry for weeks, and still when I closed it, it lifted some paint. But now I basically do just gouache and acrylic gouache for this challenge. Peter, hello, what's happening here? Yeah, Peter, so I'm using gouache, traditional gouache, and I just used a coal erase pencil to sketch in this portrait, and I'm just streaming. It's the last day to purchase my paintbrush set at a reduced price. It's going up by $10 USD today, so I just wanted to stream and let people know, and we have an additional 5% off during the live stream if you're interested. Yeah, gouache and coal erase. Does the 100 Heads challenge come with a time frame, or is it at your own pace? So I think a lot of people do it differently. I have not set a time frame. I'm hoping to finish it by the end of the year, but I've just been super lax with how I do the challenge because I just want to get better. I don't want to feel bad if I don't have time to work on it. Hi Liza, hello. Looking forward to receiving the brushes and to find out how to best use them. Yeah, oh, that's so exciting. I actually just got my first comment from somebody saying they received their brush set in Australia, which is crazy. I haven't responded to the comment yet, but I just think that's so exciting. So they're gonna start rolling in for people, I think. How do you do value studies? I'm really lost with it. Yeah, so I'll just take a ivory black and a titanium white, only 2 colors on my palette, and I'll do, let me go back here. Like these are all value studies, so these ones are using black and white, this one's using violet, this one's using some sort of blue. I don't know if this is, yeah, this is gouache, okay. But you really want to squint at your reference and just try and break it down into like 5 to 10 values rather than, you know, like the thousands of values we see when we just look at a reference. You can even just take any reference and, oops, and turn it into black and white, and that can make it easier, but it's also a challenge if you look at a colored reference and then turn it into, or paint it in monochromatically, I guess. Okay. Hi, Catherine. Oh yes, Catherine won the original rabbit painting in my last live stream, and I just sent it out this week. So that is so exciting. Can't wait for you to receive it. And I'm curious what's gonna make it to you first, the painting or the brush set. Okay, so I'm going to stop looking at the chat for a bit and actually paint. So I'll do that periodically. I'll just go through the whole chat. Let me put that here for a bit. But yes, I'm not ignoring you guys. I just want to focus on the painting. So I'm going to use the number 6 round brush, and I'm going to mix myself our darkest dark, which I always do with burnt umber, ultramarine blue, and then sometimes I'll shift it with a little alizarin crimson. I tried to fit as much of the palette on this stream today, but I'm learning. I also think I found a better setup where I won't be bumping my head. I think the last live stream I bumped my head like 6 times, which for 3 hours is not terrible, but I am hoping no head bumps today. Or maybe 1. I'll allow myself 1, just for fun. Take a sip of water. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this dark color. And I'm gonna water it down a little bit. Maybe mix it with our burnt sienna mix here, just so I can start to sketch it in, but not have it be set in stone yet, if you know what I mean. Actually, it might go even lighter, and I'll go back to our darkest color. I often do this. I do like color mixing strings. Okay. So I'm just gonna sort of sketch it in. I've really missed doing these like color washes. I don't know why, but I'll just go through like phases of painting in slightly different ways, or like, you know, just trying different approaches. And I think I'm gonna go back to doing this sort of wash thing first, because I really like having it as a like a value, mid-value to paint on top of. So I'm using a sort of something between like a tea and a milk consistency right now. With gouache, you want to build up from thinner to thicker. I think this is drying a little bit darker than I wanted. for now, so I'm gonna lighten it, add a little more water. There we go. Now we can sort of block in our shadow shapes a little bit. Painting isn't always like a linear process. I don't know where I was going with that. I think I was gonna say something like I have to get used to streaming and including the sort of wibbly wobbly approach I do sometimes, where I think I'm gonna go one way and then I end up working on something else or building up the portrait in a slightly different way, and that's okay. Sometimes the reference material sort of, I don't know, it sort of informs me how I need to approach the specific painting. And don't fear the ugly stage. I don't think a painting's supposed to look pretty for the entire process. You have to build it up from somewhere. You have to have those foundational layers that are meant to be underneath, if that makes sense. They're like a supporting layer. So they're not really meant to be viewed from the finished painting. At least not fully. And I'll look through the chat in a moment once I finish this little step in the process, so I'm not ignoring you guys. It says we have 95 people watching right now, at least on my end. When you start adding in these initial dark values, they look so super dark because you don't have the rest of the values to sort of go off of, or not go off of. How do I want to say this? You don't have the rest of the values to compare, I guess. So later when we start adding more values, like these guys right here will actually not be that dark in comparison, and we'll have to go in and make them darker. I hope that makes sense. There, you guys can actually start to see the drawing now. If you're watching and you haven't already, then maybe consider leaving the live stream a like. It really helps me out. I really love this number 6 brush for this like first sort of sketching with paint stage. It comes to a really nice point, and all of the round brushes, something that I will sometimes do with them is sort of flatten the brush on my palette, and it becomes sort of like a blade, and then you can get really, really fine fine lines. Okay. Add a little bit of alizarin crimson so I can get a slightly warmer version of this. Even though it's a cool red, it makes our mix a little bit more red leaning. And this is good for things like the ears and the nostrils, which are always very, very warm. Lots of blood flow through those areas. So let's see if I can get this painting done in 2-ish hours. Or at least done enough for a 100 head sketch. Now I'm making a super, super warm version of this. I added a little bit of the cadmium yellow deep, which looks more like an orange, and then I added some cadmium red. And just because the shadow under the chin is very, very warm. In this particular reference, that isn't always the case. Sometimes the shadow under the chin is a lot cooler than this. Okay. I hope there aren't too many mid-roll ads for you guys. I put it on the lowest possible setting without it being completely off. So I hope it's not too many, or at least that they're short. Okay. Got a dog hair on my brush. Not a bristle, 100% a Luna hair because it was all black. Okay. I've never lost a single bristle with these brushes, ever. Okay. I think that's good enough for this stage here. Let me look through the chat for a moment, and then I think I'm gonna go in with a flat brush to start blocking in the shadow side of her face and neck and around the hair. But I'm gonna take a big gulp of water first, so one sec. Okay. Let me go up and see what I missed here. Hi, Caitlin. I'm not sure if I said hi to Caitlin yet. Catherine. Peter, I want to do my portraits that look like this, but it turns out looking like this. That's really funny. Catherine said, can't wait to get the cute bunny and hang it on the wall and your beautiful paintbrushes. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to receive it. Thank you so much, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Garden table. I love that color you used for the wash underpainting. Thank you. It's just burnt sienna and I believe the cadmium yellow deep. I just wanted a really nice warm base. Priya says, sometimes I feel nauseous if I paint too much. I think it's my own kind of art block. Is it the like staring at the painting, or do you think it's like the fumes? I get so nauseous when I spend too long editing, and I think it's my eyes looking at the computer screen when I'm editing my videos. I don't know why. I just get so nauseous. Catherine, oh my gosh, the painting from the last live stream turned out gorgeous. Thank you so much, Catherine. I didn't quite nail the values on the face, but I'm happy with it for what it is. Julianne, hi, I love your videos. Thank you so much. It almost looks like a drawing with paintbrush on toned paper at this stage. So smart. Yes, it does. It does. I don't do a lot of painting on toned paper, but I just got Above Ground Toronto just gave me a toned Honamule watercolor sketchbook. It's like tan toned, and I'm so excited to do some gouache paintings with it. Peter says, I think gouache is more forgiving than watercolors. I think so too, because gouache you can cover stuff up, and watercolor, you know, it's so transparent that sometimes it's just, I don't know, sometimes I paint with watercolors and I'm like, I just ruined it, and that's it. Sorry for the noises outside. There is a landscaper nearby. Hopefully it's not too loud. N.O. No said, put it on the highest setting, girl, make that money. Thank you, No. I don't want it to be too disruptive, so it's on the lowest setting for today. Yeah, Peter, like oil paints, you can paint over it. So true. And with oil paints, at least when you're painting alla prima, you can just wipe it away. And I love that about oil paints. And Will says, once you are comfortable with value studies, would you recommend gradually adding other colors? I think once you're comfortable with value studies, then give yourself a limited palette. So, you know, something like white, ultramarine, I meant to say raw umber or burnt umber. Give yourself like an earth brown, and then give yourself like a blue, a red, a yellow, a white, just like a very basic starter set. I think Winsor & Newton sells like a little starter set, and I would just try and use that and try and take what you've learned from the value studies and apply it. So still make sure that the values are the most important thing, and then color matching and color mixing can be like a secondary aspect. You can even do like take one reference and do a value study first and then do your color version. Liza says, it fascinates me how you construct the layers of the portrait and watch it appear. Thank you so much. It could be blood sugar dropping if you feel nauseous. I take a little break every 20 minutes or so and keep water bottle close. Yeah, definitely having a little snack and some water. Yeah, we gotta take care of ourselves. I've already almost finished my glass. I made sure to bring a big bottle today. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little more painting here. I'm gonna take a little sip of water. Okay, my water's already pretty gross, but I brought a backup one of those too. But for now, since we're just doing the shadow shapes, having some dirty, darker water is gonna be okay, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna use, what should I use? let's use the 3/4 of an inch flat brush, and I can just block off the hair to start. It's very dark in the reference. And then after I do that, I will do the shadow side of the face. So I'm gonna take my dark mix here, add a little more ultramarine blue. So if you missed it, ultramarine blue and burnt umber. Is it burnt umber? Yes, ultramarine blue and burnt umber make a chromatic black, a very nice black. So, oops, oh no, I did bump my head. Dang it. I thought I could get through it without doing that. Okay, one head bump. I like mixing my own black just because it's very easy to shift the mixes and get it exactly how I want it. So right now I have sort of a thicker, something between milk and pancake batter consistency here. And I'm just gonna block in the dark hair shape. Good girl, Lou. Talking to my dog, Luna. She just perked up. Add a little more water to this. There we go. That's the coverage we want. Something like that. Speaking of like health related things and making art, I had a lot of wrist pain the past few days, and that's something I get every so often, and I just have to rest my wrist because it just says no to drawing and painting. It's because of the way I grip my pencils, like pencils, markers, pens, that sort of thing. I kind of hold them weird, but whenever I try and hold them normal, I find it harder to control the pencil. I think I hold paintbrushes fine, like this is a nice relaxed position, but I don't know. If you've seen my videos where I draw, I always get comments saying you don't know how to hold a pencil. I'm like, I don't know, man. I've just always done it that way. And I think I have a funny thumb, double jointed thumb. Oh, Aurelia just ordered your brushes. Thank you so much. Oh, that's amazing. I was so blown away by the number of orders in the first week with the reduced price. I can't believe it. I think they said we have 110 left. Is that the number? 110 from the original 300 that we made, or that they made. I designed. Okay, I'm going to make, there's sort of a slightly lighter area here, and I'm gonna block it in. She has curly textured hair, but I'm not really going to indicate that, at least not yet. And for me, when I'm looking at it, I don't know if it'll show up here. No, it just looks sort of like gray there. But for me, I see like a greeny blue sort of look. So I'm gonna try and do that. And that's something I like to do, is just exaggerate the colors I see. think that can be really fun. So I'm just taking that dark mix and I'm making a version down over here, sort of a color mixing string. And I'm just going to, sorry, you can't really see it there, but sort of like that, but then I want to make it a little more green leaning. And that's like a strange thing. Like when I paint, say, blonde hair, I always see greens in it. So there's always greens. And even when I paint like gold items, I always see reflections or colors of green and purple in gold. See, I think this color on its own, like on the palette, it looks so green and so weird, but I think next to the other colors that are coming in the hair, it doesn't look crazy. Maybe it does to you guys. It doesn't look crazy to me. Oh gosh, I've already been streaming for 51 minutes. Hey, I'm a slow painter. Let me know if any of you guys are working on anything at home. If you guys are sketching or painting or doing anything else non-art related. I made a mix over here just with that cadmium yellow deep, just sort of as a transitional color at certain areas of the forehead. I think having a transitional color between hair and forehead is really important, especially when you see the hair coming out of the head, because when you squint at your reference, the color of the hair and the color of the scalp underneath sort of blend together, they combine, and that's what you want to paint, is that color you see when you're squinting at your reference. Little cad red. This is just some Naples yellow with that mix, just for down here on the neck. And I don't always get, I often don't get color mixes right on the first try. But it's okay, because you can go back in and adjust it. Okay, so now I'm ready to do the darker parts of the face, so the parts of the face that are in shadow. I'm gonna get my second water cup here. And I can keep this one for my darker colors, and then I'll use this clean water for the lighter mixes, just so that it doesn't get muddy. If I wasn't streaming, I would probably just go refresh the water, but this will do. Okay. let me respond to some questions. I think I am gonna go in with this 3/4 of an inch brush to start the face. It is a small portrait, but I do love to challenge myself in that way. I could also go in with the 1/2 inch brush. I'll have them both out. Okay, let's respond to some questions or some comments. Hi, Mystery Truck. Hello. I think you were here last time. I remember that name. Hi, Kate. It would be so cool if you collabed to create a gouache portrait painting set someday. Oh, that would be really cool. I mean, honestly, I designed this set with my gouache portrait paintings in mind. So this set here is kind of a gouache portrait painting set. Even the box art, this is a gouache portrait using the paintbrushes in the set. I'll show you quickly the... Yeah, there's the clean brushes that haven't been used by me. Those are my favorite brush sizes to use for gouache portrait painting. Okay, let's see. OMG, love Chris Hong. Oh, because Catherine said, Oh, Renee said, amazing work as always. Thank you so much, Renee. And Catherine said, I think Chris Hong holds her pencils like that as well. Maybe it's the secret to being a great artist. Oh my goodness, does she? She might. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but the wrist hates it. I'll hold my pencil like this a lot of the time, and then I'll hold it like this, which I know is crazy. And I think I like grip it. I grip the pencil like it's offended my family or something. Yeah, so I'm trying to be more conscious of how I hold my tools. I love Chris Hong, by the way. I know she's coming out with a set with Craftamo as well, and she's coming out with an art book, which I pre-ordered because I love her work too. Priya said, it's midnight here, 12:16 a.m. Oh my goodness, thank you for joining us. That's so late. To be honest, I'm usually up at that time watching something too. Ultramarine said, oh really, I never noticed how they hold pencils differently. You haven't noticed, but I've gotten so many comments. It's really funny. Princess Styles says, I'm currently procrastinating doing college statistics. Oh my goodness. I would procrastinate that too. Oh, it just started raining outside. So it's a nice, cozy painting session. Are you working with traditional gouache or acrylic gouache today? I'm curious about the paint container you're using, if that's something you would recommend for early gouache users. I'm using traditional gouache, so it does reactivate with water, and this is just an airtight paint palette I got from Amazon. I think I have an affiliate list below, maybe. I don't know, I usually do in my videos. Would I recommend it for a beginner gouache artist? It's hard to say, because if you don't use your palette a lot, it will dry out and you'll have to refresh it by mixing it and that sort of thing, which isn't a big deal. But yeah, I think it's a great little palette. You certainly don't have to have it full of all these different colors. You can just have a more basic palette or more basic set of colors, but I love this guy. Julie Ann says, I'm doing homework. Oh, I don't miss homework. House Riot says, I'm so fascinated by the choices you make in angling your brush and how short you make the strokes. How do you make these decisions? I think it just comes from doing a lot of portrait paintings and sort of figuring out what I like. And I do really like angular shapes. So I'll often use a flat brush and make like triangular shapes just by rotating the brush like that. Yeah, flat brushes are so versatile. You can get so many interesting shapes. And when I change the direction, it's because I see a plane shift in the reference. So I'm sort of sculptural with how I approach using a flat brush with portrait painting. Let me see. Ultramarine, doing yoga stretches and going to take a bath later. Oh, that sounds perfect. I like that. I'm drawing right now. Aiko is drawing with Prismacolor colored pencils. I love those. Cassis, hello. Hello, thank you for joining. I'm working on an Angus cloud portrait. Wow. Kuro just sent, it looks like a emoji of like a can of Spam. Thank you. 4 a.m. for Peter. Oh my goodness, Peter, thank you for joining us. That's a wild sleep schedule. Catherine, painting a pumpkin right now. Couldn't help myself. Hello, fall. Oh, I love that. My patrons on Patreon, we've started doing monthly sketchbook prompts for the sketchbook pals, and we're doing something similar this month. It's about 12 in the afternoon here in Cali. Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm gonna get to painting, and I'll take a break from looking at the chat for a bit, and I'm gonna mix our color for the shadows on this side of the face. I think I'm gonna use the 1/2 inch flat brush actually, just because this side of the face, the angle, we don't have a lot of room to work with here, and then I'll definitely switch back to the 3/4 of an inch for this side of the face, just because there's a lot more space there. Okay, so let's mix a color. She's got a little bit of a deeper complexion. It's sort of olive, like an olive skin tone. I always have Luna furs, dog furs on my palette. Okay, so let's start with a yellow ochre. I'm actually going to use this primary blue. I don't often dip into it, but just because I'm already working in sort of a mid shadow tone, like a mid shadow value, that I don't want to start too dark and then have to lighten up with the white. So I'm going to use some of my more convenient colors that are a little bit lower value, but not too, or higher value, I mean. Okay, so let's add a little bit of red. What red are we gonna add? A little cadmium. And such a powerful color, but that's okay. We need a lot of, I should mix a good amount. That's something I do, is I sometimes don't mix enough. And I don't really mind, because I do mix as I go and I can just mix it again, but I should probably try and mix enough. Add a bit of the lilac. Okay, I'm gonna see how this looks on the page. Actually, I might. She's reflecting, I think it must be the backdrop around her, but she's reflecting a little bit cool over here. So let's see how this looks here, and we'll see how it dries. If I have to adjust it later, we'll do that. Okay. And I also see it leaning cool down here. I'm glad I used the 1/2 inch brush and not the 3/4 of an inch brush for this side of the face. I wouldn't put it past me to do that, but I hope the music's not too loud. I haven't seen anyone complain of that, so I think we're okay. Every once in a while I'm like, is this one song louder than the others? Maybe. Add a little Naples yellow to this part here. Once again, sort of treating it like a puzzle. And somebody asked me, I almost said yesterday, not yesterday, the last time I streamed, someone asked me how I choose like when I'm painting wet on wet versus waiting for things to dry. And I think I've realized I try not to paint on top of a wet layer too much with gouache, but right now when I'm like filling in this area, I'm not waiting for it to dry because I'm sort of just tiling these colors together. But if I was to go on top, I would want this to dry, at least for the most part. Like I might make small adjustments here while it's still wet, but that's only if I think that this value needs to be, this base foundation value needs to be shifted. Because what I like to do is, like the cheek here is gonna be lighter, but I want this value to show through underneath, sort of, so you can see that it's a three-dimensional thing. I almost think of it like a topographical map. Am I saying that right? Like where you can see the different elevation levels, sort of like that. Some warmth near the hairline, as there usually is. And there's some different areas where this value exists. So right over there, very warm. Right over here, very warm. I think I'm getting better at like vocalizing what I'm thinking while painting. A little bit at least. See, this is already dry. I love gouache for that. And as long as I'm making different variations of the same color mix, I don't need to clean my brush. And I sort of think about, I use what's on my brush to make more colors instead of washing my brush every time. Okay, so it's been just about an hour since I started streaming. And like I said, I'll respond to any new messages or comments in a moment. This is the live streaming key, I think, is giving myself little moments where I don't look at the chat. Otherwise, I'll just talk to you guys the whole time and not paint. And if you'll notice, I haven't used my white at all. I don't keep white in my airtight palette. I used to, but I realized that it doesn't really make sense. I use so much of it, and it's always going to be getting dirty. And you want your white to be nice and clean, so I realized just put it on the palette, on my mixing palette when I'm painting. And then I have one extra spot for a color in the palette. And I don't think I mentioned, this is a Red Grass Everlasting wet palette that they sent me to try. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been trying it. And I'm gonna give them my thoughts on it, but really loving it. Pauline, this is normal gouache. I actually haven't used my acrylic gouache in a while. I sort of go through phases of which type of gouache I like to use, and right now, for a while, it's been traditional gouache, but I do like acrylic gouache for certain things. And I just got a new set of Turner acrylic gouache, the Japanesque set. And so I'm gonna be trying that for a video soon. I don't know what it's gonna be like switching back to acrylic gouache after using traditional gouache for a while. But my approach is very, very similar, so it should be okay. I think my approach is very similar, and then it's just the outcome is slightly different. When I use acrylic gouache, it's just a little less blended. This is like a weird thing to say, but I really like her eyelids. I like when people in portraits, when I'm portrait painting, sometimes I really like when they have these big upper lids. I think they're very expressive. I don't know. It's just really fun to paint different looking features. And when I say different, I just mean different from the last portrait I did. Everybody's got different features, and that's what makes it fun. That's why you'll never get bored with portrait painting, I think. Okay, I'm having a really good time here. Make a slightly lighter color here with a little Naples yellow and a little bit of that linden green. hope you guys are all having a really nice day. Happy Friday, everyone. And if there's anything else you'd like to see me live stream, let me know. I'd be down to do like sketching live streams. I'll just have to make sure that I have my camera settings right so that you can actually see the sketches. I could do like a marker live stream. My dog is sleeping, so she's snoring a little bit. It's very sweet. I think puppy snores are the best. I say puppy, but she's 3, but she's always a puppy to me. Okay. I think I might try and get the lips in a moment. So far, so good. Like, so far, I think I'm making good choices here, but we'll see. Painting's all about making choices. And I've said this before, but they're not all going to be the right choices. We're just hoping that we have more right choices than wrong choices in a painting. But we learn from the wrong choices. And you could say there's no wrong in art, but I just mean we all have an idea of what we want our paintings or our pieces to look like. And in that case, I think there are like choices that lead us to those results, and we're just trying to figure out, you know, what those choices are. Okay. Finally dipping into the white. I wanted to get in the Cupid's bow, and it's a little bit lighter than the color I had. Okay. Okay, let me see the chat for a bit, and then I think we'll do the lips. We'll get in more mid-tones. Yeah, okay. Let's see what I missed here in the chat. Can we know about your history with art? Yeah, maybe I should make a video about that on some point, or at some point. I've always wanted to be an artist since I was a little kid. You know, when I was a kid, if somebody asked me, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It was always artist, so. How often do you paint portraits with reference and without reference? Cal R. I always paint with references. That's just the kind of artist I am. I wish I was better. I wish I was one of those artists that could paint from my imagination. That being said, I can change things in my references, and I've gotten better at doing that. Like, I can make some imagined I can alter my references, if you know what I mean, but yeah, I always paint from references. Cassis ordered your brushes, can't wait for them. Can't wait to get them and try. Oh, thank you so much, Cassis. Yay! I'm so excited for you to get them too. Cassis is an amazing artist as well. We traded some paintings, so I have one of his watercolor paintings on my wall way over there, but I love it. It makes the room. 9 p.m. in Germany. Aylin? I'm gonna say Aylin. That's awesome. Okay, Germany. I've been to Germany. I think I'm gonna start saying if there's a place I've been to. I've been to Cologne, Germany, and it was lovely. Priya says, I want to buy the brushes, like seriously they are my dream set with the right amount of flat and round brushes. Even with the price on sale, it's a single month's rent for me. I'm real sad I can't buy it. Oh, I'm so sorry, Priya. That's okay. You can definitely still use my techniques without this brush set, but yeah, they might come back in the future. Who knows? But yes, always prioritize, your needs over your wants, for sure. Gotta take care of ourselves. And we'll patiently waiting for you to drop the Discord link, LOL. I know I don't have a Discord. I've been thinking about making one for my patrons, because right now we just have the chats on Patreon. We don't have a Discord, but maybe one day. Alyssa, Emily. I'm also always finding corgi hair in my watercolor palette. Yeah, it's constant. I think corgis shed a lot too, eh? I love a good corgi. Aiko, OMG Emily, I know you love horror. Have you seen The Haunting of Hill House? 10 out of 10 would recommend. I absolutely have, and I loved it. Loved The Haunting of Hill House. I've read the book too. It's a great book. Charcuterie sound. The music is just right. Thank you. Charcuterie sound, that's my brother, and he is a music nerd, so I think he's okay with me saying that. Definitely check out his videos if you're into music. Ultramarine. OMG, it gave me so many nightmares. Reminds me of all the Sims I killed in my Sims house. Oh no. Yeah, what was the other show? Something Bly Manor. Watched that too. It was also really good. Not quite as good as The Haunting of Hill House in my opinion, but still good. And I've read the book for that one too, or that it was based on Turn of the Screw. Really good book too. Frank says, hello Emily. Hello Frank. I remember you from last time. If I understand well your process, you start with dark colors to light colors. Yes, with gouache, I go dark to light. You could probably go light to dark, like people have different approaches, but I tend to like to go dark to light, and I can always go in and adjust my darks later on if I find that they need to be darker. But I feel like starting with your darks, it anchors the piece. And then you're working towards the lights, and it just feels more round because the lights are coming towards you and you've got the midtones and the darks, and it just feels right. Like the lights are closer to you and the darks are usually further away. Eliza says, that sounds interesting. I like to listen to horror stuff to relax at night. I'll check it out. Yeah, it's a really great show. I think Mike Flanagan is the creator. So good. I think I'll rewatch it. But also, like, The Haunting of Hill House, the original novel. Oh my gosh, who wrote that? Why am I blanking? I've read a lot of her works. Not Mary Shelley. That's Frankenstein. What am I saying? Ugh. I forget the author for Haunting of Hill House. It'll come to me. Incredible author. Anyways, her classic novel, you can listen to the audiobook. It's great. Very creepy. Peter Lee, I use a hairdryer for quickly drying watercolors or acrylic paint. Oops, sorry I bumped the mic, but me too. It's always good to have. Oh, Pauline, normal gouache or acrylic gouache, what is better? Earlier I thought you were just asking what I'm using. I don't think one is better over the other. They just have their pros and cons. Acrylic gouache doesn't reactivate with water. It's more like acrylic in that way, but I love the matte look of it. It has that lovely matte look of gouache. So I find the color mixing is very similar to traditional gouache. With traditional gouache, you can blend more on your painting. But that being said, with acrylic gouache, you can buy a blending medium, like a retarder, and that will make it stay wet for longer, so you can do a little more mixing. And also your acrylic gouache pieces, if you spill water on it, you're gonna be fine. I mean, except for the paper, but let's see. Catherine, your drawings and paintings always invoke so much personality. Would you say you use more straight angles when you draw? Yes, I absolutely use more straight angles when I draw, especially at the beginning of a sketch. I feel like you can't see this one down here, it's too bright. But I like to do lots of straight edges. I find it helps me to capture my reference better, and then if I want to round out certain elements, I can. But it's really nice to have that good base, that good geometric base. Hold on, I'm gonna have a sip of water. There's lots of messages to respond to, and I want to get to them all. There's lots of noises outside from the landscapers. Okay. Which normal gouache do you use? Turner as well? Yeah, I use a mix of Turner, Winsor & Newton, and Holbein. I would say Holbein are my favorite, but they're really expensive. And there's also, Winsor & Newton's also great, and they have a few colors that are, like they're the only brand that carries those colors, like Linden Green is a favorite of mine, and that's Winsor & Newton. Turner are a lot more affordable for me where I am. I order them from Above Ground in Toronto. And you get big tubes with a lot of paint for a very decent price in Canada. I think they are a little bit less pigmented than Winsor & Newton Holbein, but they do the job. They're good. Kate said, I would love to watch some sketching live streams or a value gouache painting. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Peter says, Saturday for me. Oh yeah, you're in the future. You're in the future, Peter. Priya says, time zones really fascinate me. It's like time traveling. Yeah. Liza says, I'm so happy autumn is here. I just bought more Ohuhu markers and would love to see you do a piece using them. I don't fully understand them, to be honest, but I know they can do incredible things. Yeah, I have my Ohuhu markers right above me. I only have the pastel set because they sent that to me way back. But yeah, I love using them. And honestly, it's okay because I'm scared of using the darker colors. Yeah, I'm not a pro by any means. And look at this, I got my brush in the white. Oh, Jeeb says, ordered. Let's hope I start gouache with your brushes, Emily. Thank you so much, Jeeb. I love Jeeb does incredible artwork as well. I hope I'm saying your name right. If the J is an H, Heeb, let me know. Like an H sound, I mean. OMG, I have to give that a listen. I've heard about that podcast on Reels. Did I miss the podcast? Guys, what's the podcast? Is it a horror podcast? Oh man, I missed it. Because we were talking about The Haunting of Hill House. You gotta tell me what the podcast is so I don't miss out. Liza said, it's wonderful to see your success. It's hard work and you never try to make it look easy. I can see the work you put in, and that's the only way to grow and find your own path. Thank you so much, Liza. Yeah, it's all about putting in the hours, I think. And you gotta love doing it. And Will says, sorry for shamelessly promoting, but it's a really awesome podcast. Oh my goodness, I gotta know what the podcast is. Marker live streams are yes, so we will be doing that. Cassie says, your painting is on my wall as well with good company, but yours is the closest to my eye level when I'm at my desk. Oh, I love that. It's staring at you. That's so cool. I love when my paintings have good homes and they're living in other places with other people. Hi, Pinky. No problem, Frank. How similar is gouache and watercolor? People say they have similarities. They're very different. The only similarity is really that they reactivate with water, I would say. I mean, you can use gouache very watered down, similarly to watercolor, but it's usually a little streaky that way. How is acrylic gouache different from just acrylic? Acrylic gouache it dries matte, where acrylics dry sort of shiny, sort of plasticky, I find. Oh yeah, look, Cassis answered exactly how I answered. Way to go. Thank you, Cassis. Cyan says, my internet went down, so I have a lot of catching up to do. Oh, I'm glad you're back. Aylin said, would love another master study from sketch to paint. I think you did a Sargent one a while ago. Yes, I'd love to do that. The Sargent one I think was oil pastels, if I'm not mistaken. But we can definitely do that. We could do oils or gouache or something else. Yes, it's Jeep like Jeep. Awesome. Jeep like Jeep. Yeah, check out Jeeb's work on Instagram. Alyssa says, crazy coincidence, just got my package of stickers I ordered from you. Yay, squish fish. Oh, thank you so much, Alyssa. That's amazing. Ali Banana, hello. Aiko says, the podcast was the Magnus Archives. Okay, thank you. I'm glad to be in the loop. I will definitely give it a listen. Okay, let's do some more painting before the chat. I get behind on the chat again. Okay, so I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do the lips first, do some more mid-tones, and we'll work our way up to the lights. How are we doing for time? 3:30, okay. It's 3:30 here for me, by the way. Are these all from reference? Yes, they're all from reference. I have the reference below for this one and this one, which I thought maybe I would get to, but nope. But they're on my Pinterest board, M. Hughes Art 100 Heads. Oh, Priya said it's 1 a.m. now. Can't keep my eyes open anymore. I'll have to watch this later. Bye, Emily. Oh, thank you for staying up with us, Priya. It was really nice having you. Have a good sleep. And you can watch this later on the channel under the live tab. Okay, so I'm not gonna look at the chat for a little bit, so just so you know, I'm not ignoring you guys. So let's mix a lip color. We can start with the mid-tone we have over here, add a little bit of white, and then we're gonna need to warm it up with the Cad Red. This might be too light. Okay. Let's try this for this side of the lips. And I'm still using the 1/2" flat brush, by the way. I wonder if I should zoom you guys in closer to the painting. This side of the lip is a little darker, a little cooler. And then the lower lip is going to be the lightest because it is catching the most light. And that's usually the case with portraits. With like your typical lighting, usually the upper lip is going to be darker in value than the lower lip. Put my paper towel under here. I try and reuse paper towels as much as possible. So I'll let them dry out as long as they're not too saturated with paint. Okay. So the lower lip is lighter. Very warm. I'm getting into the area of the palette that you guys can't see as much, unfortunately. And of course, there's a Luna hair in my mix. I want to say thank you again to everybody that's ordered my brush set. I'm so excited for everyone to receive them. Oh, I can't wait to hear what people think. I just adore them. And thank you for joining this stream. As I'm new to live streaming, I never knew if people would actually watch them. But it's cool to know that people will hang out with me if I stream. I want to shift the left side of the lip a little bit, the color there. That feels better to me. And if you zoom in on lips in your references, you'll often see there's like a line of very bright red near the center line. I'll have to adjust this later so it's not too blocky, so it's sort of, you know, shining through, coming out from within rather than feeling like it's just placed on top. But I think it'll be important to have that there. It looks crazy right now, but I'm gonna let that bright red, that cadmium red dry, and then I'll cover up most of it. Okay, so this side of the lower lip, it's got sort of a cool-ish reflection there. And we're gonna have to re-establish the darks around the lip at some point too. I'll probably do that in a moment. Okay, let's let that dry, and then we can come in with the darks and the highlights later. I just want to let that dry, but especially the corner of the mouth here, we need to re-establish. So let's go into some mid-tones. Okay. Thinking where I want to start. So I think I'm gonna use my bigger brush for the forehead and the cheeks. But I'll keep my 1/2 inch out because I'll probably use it around the nose and the eyes. Okay. Oh, and thank you everyone who gave the stream a like. That means a lot. So I'm gonna go into the forehead, which, as usual, is a little more yellow leaning. That's one of our color bands of the face. Let's just do a stroke up like that. Desaturate it a little bit with the lilac. Oh, I like this song. So we'll see how these colors dry. It's always a little bit of a surprise. Probably go a little lighter here. And sometimes I take a while just to get the color exactly how I want it. Okay. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. It's a little warm up here. I have to remind myself that this is just a study, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And I just need to get the sort of idea of it down. I don't need to do a perfect painting. I want to focus on values and shape and color. And I'm gonna need to add a transitional color right here. See, this line is very harsh and we need something to transition that. And I think this will do the job. in my videos I get to cut out all of this mixing time. Okay, let's let those dry before I mess it up. And let's get I'm sort of working down the center of the face, so we'll do the nose and around the mouth, and we'll start around the cheekbones. Or maybe I just want to finish going across the forehead. Maybe I'll do that. Let's go across the forehead. So we've got to lighten this value a little bit. And that's way too wet of a brush. There we go. Now we've actually got paint on here. Okay. I don't need to get the value exactly as light as it needs to be just yet, because I can come back in and lighten it later. Okay, let's go down the nose, and I'm actually going to try and use this 3/4 of an inch brush for as long as possible here before I switch to the 1/2 inch, just so we can get some nice big shapes here. And the nose usually leans a little more red, a little warmer. Let's make a nice big mix here for the mid-tone, the lighter mid-tone. I'm usually really terrible with palette organization, and although this looks pretty messy, this is better than, sometimes it's a lot worse than this. I guess I'll say that. Like, I still have room down here to mix, which is a rarity. Let's see, as I'm mixing this color, let's see some comments. Pastiche says, "You're an amazing artist. Thank you so much." Pinky says, "How long does it usually take you to complete a painting?" It depends on the size. Yeah, it really depends. I think usually I sit down at something for like 3, maybe anywhere from like 2 to 5 hours. And then depending, I may come back to it the next day. These paintings in this book, I try and spend less time on. That's not always the case, but Pauline says, "Love your artworks." Thank you so much, Pauline. Ramona, "You're so amazing. I just started using gouache as well, and you're definitely such a huge inspiration for me." Thank you so much, Ramona. Lana says, you can tell me if it's Lana or Lana. I know some people have different ways of pronouncing it, but I'm gonna say Lana for now. "What are you thinking about while painting? Is it like volume or just where shadows and light go, or all of it?" Yeah, so I'm squinting at my reference and I am examining it, and I'm thinking, when I go to mix a color and put it down, I'm thinking First, what is the value? Second, what is the color? How warm is it? How cool is it? And I shift from there. And then the third thing is, what is the shape I'm about to make? What is the brush stroke I'm about to make? And how is it going to fit into the painting as a whole? I try and avoid getting into the painting mode where I'm just putting strokes down and not really thinking about it. I really want to be thoughtful about every mark I put down. Wow, it looks so cool. Thank you. I love the orange on the eyes of the other drawing too. Thank you. I hope you have another paintbrush release later. With school starting finances, a bit tight at the moment. Love your art so much. Thank you so much, Yoganisa. Yaganisa. Thank you. I am not sure right now. Can't say if there's going to be another release, but we will let you know. Especially if you sign up for the Craftamo email list, then I'm sure you will be notified. But of course, I will always let everybody know if there's another release of the brushes. Catherine says, shoot, I have to run, but I enjoyed watching you again today. I'll catch the rest later. I have a good feeling my brushes will come today and I can paint along with you on your next live stream. Oh my goodness, I hope so. I hope they come today. That would be so lovely. I'm hoping I can live stream next week on Friday, but we'll see. Yes, bye Catherine. I maybe already missed you. Ultramarine says, I also hoped I get my brushes next week. Oh, I hope so too. I hope so too. They're gonna start coming in for everybody, I think. Do you ever do backgrounds or landscapes? It depends. When I did my Arttober gouache paintings, well, back last October, I did do some landscapey, backgroundy type pieces. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I do it sometimes, and it's something I want to get better at. But definitely for the 100 heads challenge, the background is not really the point of these studies. I just want to focus on the faces. Okay, I'm going to test this color, and I'm just going to do one big swatch for this nose to start. And then we can break down that swatch into its smaller planes later. And then I need to make a slight shift. Maybe that's not as slight as I wanted. Oh, see, now this is the perfect color for right here. And of course, I'm using too big of a brush. So I'll come back in for that later. It's a little tight here too. That cheekbone there. That stroke was a little more watery than I would have liked. Sorry guys, I'm in major focus mode. So there's some slight plane shifts around the mouth, sort of the jowly area of the mouth. Which sounds rude to say, but I don't know how else to describe, like the fat and skin and structure around the mouth that we all have. Probably not jowls. That's probably not not the way. Okay, it's starting to come together. I'm gonna switch to the smaller flat brush, not the smallest flat brush, but the smaller flat brush, the 1/2 inch flat brush. Yeah, for such a small portrait, I haven't gone smaller than the 1/2 inch flat brush, and I haven't gone smaller than the number 6 round. But we do have, that's not too loud, we do have a 3/8 of an inch flat brush, and we do have a 4 and a 2 round, but I try and hold off until the end. Oh, garden table, so gorgeous, thank you. Which number head is this? I think this is 74. So I think this is 79. I think this is 79 out of 100. Julianne says, I should let you know that every time I'm motivated to draw, I always go to your channel. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that my channel is that space for you. That's so wonderful to hear. Oh, K-pop stan, hello. You said my name right. Everyone always says it wrong, so thank you. Yeah, I have trouble drawing noses. Yeah, noses are tricky. Let me see if I can grab something that might help us understand the nose. I hope I don't knock my camera here. It's okay, Lou. Okay, so I have this Asaro head that one of my viewers sent me, and he makes them on Etsy. I will link it below after the live stream is done. But if you look at, and if you Google even an Asaro head, you can sort of see the structure that the nose is, generally, the planes. It breaks it down in a way that's a lot easier to understand geometrically. So I always think about noses in this way, right? Like we've got the bridge, we've got the side planes that come down to the cheek, and then there's sort of a ball shape and 2 wings. And the underside of the nose, I almost always describe it as just one plane to start, and then I break it down into its smaller planes. Peanut, hello Peanut, I like your name. I know this is probably asked a lot, but what sketchbook do you use? I was trying to find the list of your supplies. Yes, I have the list, the Amazon list, under most of my videos. Maybe I don't have it listed down below, but this is just a moleskin art sketchbook, just the normal sketchbook, not the watercolor one. I also really like the Royal Talons art creation sketchbooks. They're a little bit more affordable, and honestly, I find the papers very similar. Oh, thank you, Aisha, for subscribing. That's the first time I've seen that pop up. I think I just haven't been looking. Thank you, Cassis. I love your art so much. Thank you, Zena. Cyan, please internet, don't go down again. Love what you're doing so far. Thank you so much. Yes, please internet, stay strong. yeah, definitely look up sorrow heads, and you can sketch some. It's a great way to think about the portrait. Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic because I have to pour some more water into my glass. So 1 second, and then we'll get into the lighter values. Okay, mic back on, and I'm gonna focus on the painting for a bit. Let's get a drier paper towel here. These guys are wet, so I'll use a newish one. Oh, thank you, Foxhound97. I've thought about moving the camera a bit just because you guys are at a slight angle compared to me. I don't know, what if I zoom in? If I zoom in a little bit. Oh, but then you can't see the palette as much. Okay, there, how's that? A little bit closer, but we still see the palette. Oh, I just did a brush sin. I left my brush in the water for a bit. I don't recommend doing that. Okay. Thinking about what I want to do next here. I need to do this mid-tone on this chin. That's a nice, easy one. Sort of a warmer color here. Okay. Okay, that might be a little too warm. This is a case where we can adjust it while it's still wet. I wanted to do it in just one swipe, but I might have to come back in there. Ultramarine, is it a Stay Wet palette you're using? I don't see you spraying the paints or anything. Yeah, this is a Stay Wet palette. It's the Red Grass Everlasting Stay Wet palette, the extra large one. They sent it to me to try, and I've been using it for, I don't know, how does time work? Maybe a couple months now, and I'm really liking it. I've only used the Masterson's Stay Wet palettes before, and I think I prefer this one actually. Okay. Sorry guys, I see more messages, more chats, but just gonna focus on painting for a bit, and then I'll come back in and answer your questions, respond to your messages. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's like multiple dog hairs in my white here. I do find the Turner white is just a little bit less opaque than the Winsor & Newton white. And I'm all out of my Winsor & Newton white, so I need to get some more. I wiggle my fingers when I'm thinking, I think. So it's been about 2 hours, and I said I was only going to stream for about 2 hours, but here we are. I'll try and wrap up this painting, but we might be here a little bit longer if you want to hang out with us a little longer. Okay, I gotta actually focus on what needs to get done. Sometimes I'm like, oh, let me do this fun part of the portrait, but no, there's some things I gotta do here. I mean, our eyes are still the background color. Let's build up this area on that side of the lip. So yeah, this side of the face, it's almost a little greeny because I think there's something blue. There's some sort of blue light, like subtle blue light, subtle cool light reflecting or bouncing off of her face on this side. So because she has sort of a warmer olive-like complexion, the cool light and her warmer skin tone, it makes almost like a slight green. And so we see that on the planes of her face, that face that way. Okay. See, there's a lot of thinking involved while painting. It may take me a moment to get this color just right. And I think I'm gonna go in with our smallest flat brush here because this is quite a small plane. So this is my first time in this painting using the 3/8 of an inch flat brush. I love this brush size though. Oh, I hope the stream's not lagging a little bit. Paint on my hand, of course. Okay. Oops. Still trying to get this color over here just right. Trying to mix the color for that plane under the nose, above the lip. I think a problem I had in the last live stream I did, which was my first live stream, is I was like, you know, I gotta be painting. I can't spend too long mixing because people are gonna get bored. But that's just a big part of the painting process, and I hope you guys are here to just be here for the whole painting process, including the color mixing. Including the the sort of quieter parts of the painting process. I think this is the kind of thing I would put on like while I was painting or drawing or something. It's nice sometimes just to have like art company. Okay. Okay, I'll look at the chat in just a moment. I think I'm gonna get this eyelid in over on this side. Actually, before I do that, I should darken this shadow in this eye socket and along the nose, because as I've added more values to the painting, they are not quite dark enough. So even though this is a Stay Wet palette, it is drying a little bit. If you weren't here for when I mixed the darkest dark, it's a mix of ultramarine blue, burnt umber, and oh, second camera bonk. That's only 2, so I think I'm getting better. Ultramarine blue, burnt umber, and then I'll add a little bit of alizarin crimson when it needs some warmth. But I think right now I'm gonna add a little burnt sienna. Okay. Because the darkest point is right here in this part of the socket. And I wanted to adjust this darker value before going in with the lighter value of the eyelid, because the eyelid comes out more, so we want to do that. We want to do that after. We want to build up our painting in that way, or at least that's how I do it. And I can indicate the eyebrow here. So the thing about the eyebrows, and I was just thinking about this the other day, like how to explain how I paint in eyebrows. And it's like this for me. Eyebrows, some are thicker, some are thinner, but in areas where they're thicker, it's going to be closer to the hair color, say like in a mass of the hair. It's going to be closer to that value. But in areas where the eyebrow is thinner, we're actually seeing the skin through the hairs. And when you squint at your reference, similar to how I was talking about around the scalp, you're seeing the mix of the hair color and the skin color, and you get that color mix, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to be painting every individual eyebrow hair, but more like the impression of the eyebrow, more the, I guess, the optical color mixing that occurs when you're looking at someone from a distance and you don't see their eyebrow hairs, but you see sort of that mix of color of the skin tone and the eyebrow. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I'm painting and I'll just think of different, like something will click where it's like, well, that's how I've been doing it, but I haven't thought about why I do it like that. And that was one of those moments for me where I was like, yeah, that's why I paint the eyebrows like that because it's that mix of seeing the skin coming through the eyebrow hairs in the thinner areas. So I don't know, I hope that little thought is helpful. Okay, so darken the shadow a little bit over here. We'll do the nostrils a little bit. And I guess while we have this color mix, I should do the corner of the mouth here that we kind of lost. And then a little bit lighter and a little bit warmer, and we can do the center line of the mouth here. So I guess I try and economize the process. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but just if I have a color mix that works for a different area of the portrait, I will jump over there to get those strokes in so that I don't have to come back later and remix that color. So I'm gonna add some, Luna's cleaning her paws, so if you hear dog noises, that's that. I'm gonna add some moments of intense warmth, which I've talked about in some of my videos, or like portrait painting tutorials. How are you doing, Luna? You doing okay? Thank you. Okay. Oh, I didn't mean to blob that quite so much, but that's okay. And you'll often see on the edge of shadows that there'll be a bright red just on that terminating edge of the shadow. If it's a harsh edge. Okay, let's get in that eyelid. Let's try and wrap up this painting. Okay, as I mix some new colors over here, I'll look at the chat. Zena said, I've been struggling with gouache for almost 3 years now. One day it's a breeze to work with the other. I just hate it, especially with portraits. It's really tricky. It's really, really tricky. And there were times when I was like, I hate this medium, and now it's my favorite. So it's just gotta spend time with it, and it sucks, but also maybe it's just not the medium for you, and that's okay too. Will you draw with colored pencils live? Cat Smith asks. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Kay, absolutely loving your stream. Can't wait to see what you create going forward on your channel. Thank you so much, Kay. I'm having a really good time streaming. And Peanut says, thank you. I'll be sure to check out your Amazon list. The paper seems to hold the paint very well. Yeah, it does a pretty good job. Samri says, OMG, glad to see you painting live. We can't see it. My art stuff is always covered in cat hair. Oh, yeah, about the dog hair on the palette. Yeah, it's just a thing. I'm really glad you could join the stream. Ali Banana says, I'm heading out. It was fun drawing with you. Thank you, Ali. Bye. You're probably already gone, but bye. Diego says, hi, Latino America. Hello. Hello from Ukraine, Zhukov's art. Zhukov's art. Hello. Def's here for the whole process, says Anwil. Thank you. I'm glad to have you with us, hanging out. And I apologize, I've said this before, but there's a landscaper working outside, and every once in a while it can be a little noisy. How do you keep the bottom layers from lifting, or are expensive gouaches different? It does lift if you are using too much water and if you're too heavy-handed, and sometimes you want it to lift a little bit if you're sort of trying to mix the color with the layer below, but most of the time I'm okay because I am making sure that I'm using a slightly thicker pancake batter consistency, and another thing is, don't scrub. So if you go over the same area over and over again, you're gonna get lifting. So that's where you have to be very mindful and consider each stroke you put down. So you can see how I've been sort of building it up like a puzzle, and there's areas where I haven't even applied paint. But then there are gonna be areas where I need to add paint on top to adjust for lighter values and stuff like that. And it's just a matter of putting down a few strokes with a pancake batter type consistency and not scrubbing it too much. And definitely, like, more expensive gouaches, they are gonna be, oh, thank you Paulina for subscribing. They're definitely gonna be a little more opaque, so maybe you can get away with doing less layers. Yeah, I don't know. That it is a thing with the Himimiya gouache that I've used, that it can be a little less opaque, so you have to do many more layers. But once again, just make sure you're not using too much water. Mr. Sean, I'm gonna say Mr. Tay, if that's okay. Mr. Tay says, how are you painting with a camera and not having the camera affect your view of the painting? My proportions always get a little long when I try recording. So what I've done is I have my painting set up where my head is like right above the painting. So I'm looking straight down at the painting, and I've raised it a bit with the with this little roll of paper tape here, so that it's at, you know, like a 45-degree angle, and my head is pretty much right above it. And then I have the camera slightly up to the left here, and I have a tripod with a boom arm so that the camera can come over top of the painting. And so it's just a little bit to the left of my head. So you guys are getting a slight distortion right? Because you guys are seeing it like this, and it's a little bit more like this. But yeah, the last live stream I had it closer to my head, and I kept bumping my head into the camera. So I think that's just a sacrifice I have to make here. It's definitely a challenge, but I always try and look at the painting more than at the camera or the monitor. But I do find that looking at the camera or the monitor does sometimes help me see the painting from a distance, sort of like stepping back from the painting. So it's kind of nice in that way. But getting used to painting while filming was difficult, because at first you get sort of stage fright almost, or at least I did. But eventually you sort of just get used to it, and then it's just, you forget it's there. Or at least you don't really care that it's there. It's just sort of like another part of your painting setup, if that makes sense. Do you think that your experience in oil painting translates into your gouache painting? That's a really good question, Anne Will. I think it does. I definitely think it does. I think gouache is a great medium for oil painters. I think there's a lot of oil painters that use both mediums because they sort of translate into each other. You know, one's got that deep, rich, glossiness of, you know, the oils, and then gouache is more flat, it's a little more matte, but I definitely think they communicate. That is great advice, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, definitely like prioritize you being able to see the painting, because otherwise it will be distorted. And sometimes I do record with the painting flat, and every time it's a little bit distorted. And so I try and lift my book up a little bit, or my paper. Okay, so let's keep going so that I can finish soon. Yeah, I'm having a really good time, but definitely not used to streaming for so long. So like, you know, I gotta eat and I gotta do other things. Okay, once again getting kind of distracted, adding a transitional color there. I want to put in the eyelid. No more distractions, Emily. You gotta put in the eyelid. It's eyelid time. Okay, let's make sure we get this value right. So now the palette is quite a mess. Just focusing on getting this color mix right. It's warm, but it's not quite that warm. I noticed that the colors are a little more intense on the stream than they are in real life, which is interesting to note. Okay, let's try this. I might need to lighten it later, but let's try this. And let's try and just get this in a few strokes. Just the idea of it, just the general shape here. Okay, and then I will go back in and clean it up later. Let's do the other lid. It's very warm in the inner corner. And then it gets, is that true, Lou? Oh, Luna's talking to me now. She's saying, you gotta wrap up the stream, Emily. We gotta go. Oh, I can't say the word. If you're a dog owner, then you probably know there's only a few words that it could be. Okay, and once again, just focusing on painting, so I'm not looking at the chat, as it can be a little distracting, but I will go over all of the messages in a little bit. So once the live stream ends, then the 5% off live stream discount code will be deactivated. So if you are interested in getting one of my brush sets with Craftamo that I'm using today, now's the time. And also there's a $10 off discount. The price of the brushes is reduced already, so this 5% off is on top of that, and that price reduction is ending tonight. So today is the last day to get the reduced price. I'm very impressed with how fast the shipping is. The fact that, you know, from a week ago, somebody's already received their brush set in Australia that I know of is so cool. Oh, I see Ultramarine says, I need to go to bed now, gonna watch the rest later. Bye! Thank you so much, Ultramarine. Ultramarine's been here since very early on in my channel days. And she's a channel member, which if you want to support me like in a little bit more than a subscription, then there are the channel memberships, which is, I put it at like the lowest possible, so I think it's 99 cents a month, and it's just like a little extra, little tip, a little thank you. And I think if somebody becomes a member while I'm streaming, I think I have it set up that they'll pop up on the screen. Which is kind of fun. And if you want to know when I stream next, because I do want to stream more, then be sure to hit the notification icon and select like notify for all, or like all notifications. That way you get notified every time I go live again. And also when I upload videos and that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm gonna get in the whites of the eyes, or the sclera, and then I'll go back in and reestablish the lids and the iris, the pupil, all that. So I'm gonna use the smallest round brush, the number 2, and I'm gonna mix a sclera color. And the white of the eye is never just white because they're in shadow, they're under our eyelids. And they can have all sorts of different, they can lean towards different hues, so they can be leaning more blue, more like almost greeny blue, more purpley blue, sometimes more pink even. Depends on the environment. So this eye over here, the sclera, is going to be lighter, or sorry, darker than this eye over here because this one's more in shadow. And I'm mixing just off screen now. Maybe I can move this. There we go. Okay, let's try this. And I always have to come back in and reestablish the iris because we're sort of wiping out part of it, and that can look kind of funny, but I do like to have the iris like initially mapped out at the start of the painting with the darks. It's a little bit darker, closer to the lid. Very subtle. And once that dries, I'll go in and reestablish the lash line and the iris. A little bit peeking out on this side. Okay, so this eye is a little bit lighter, a little bit higher in value. Still not white by any means. This is really fun. Live streaming is really fun. I don't know why it took me so long to try it. And the nice thing is I don't have to go in and edit it into a video after. I mean, I suppose I could, but it just goes right up onto my YouTube channel and I don't need to edit it. So once again, the irises look crazy right now, and that's because we gotta come back in and place them back on top. But that's not the concern right now. I just want to get these scleras right. Felt like that one needed to be a little bit darker. Okay, and then we've got some warmth on the inner corner. So once that dries, we'll come back in and fix things up a bit. Okay, let's let that dry and let's see some comments here. Oh, Cassis says, well, Em, it's been a blast. You motivated me to do a painting before bed. Now it's done. I'm going to sleep. Your work is amazing as usual. Thank you for streaming and sharing. Cheers, my friend. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a good sleep. I'm glad you got a painting in. That's amazing. Irenic Icon says, is it even possible to blend with gouache? It is. When the gouache is wet, you can blend. Certainly not a lot because it does dry fast. You can also sort of blend a bit with a wet brush, but I don't really like doing that. I find things can get a little muddy. What are the advantages of gouache in painting? Says Zakahashi. Hello. I love gouache painting. Like I just said, it dries quite fast. Oh, there's my hand in the camera. I'm gesticulating. It dries really fast, so it's sort of a quicker application type painting. It's great for painting on the go because you can do an entire painting and it will be dry enough so you can close your book and put it in your bag. Super great to travel with. And I just love the look of gouache. I love how it dries matte. Pauline says, I'm so tired, gonna watch the rest later. Bye. Bye, Pauline. Thank you for joining us. I hope you get a good sleep. Oh, and we have Anksunia. I hope I said your name right. I missed the live tonight. Unfortunately, I have to go to bed now. Looking forward to see the recorded version later. Hope to see more lives from you in the future. Absolutely. Thank you. I hope you can come back and watch it later. I'm gonna end the stream soon. Let's just finish these eyes and then I'll probably finish the rest off camera. But I'm gonna mix the darkest dark again over here with ultra blue, burnt umber. They're dropping like flies, the people in the time zones. It's late. If you don't know, I'm in Canada. I'm in the Eastern Standard Time side of Canada, Ontario, so it is 4:40 p.m. here. Oh my goodness, I do need to wrap it up. So I'm just putting in the lash line here. I'm gonna add back in the iris and pupil. I always find this part really, really fun because then it just sort of pops. For those of you still here, thank you for joining. It's been so lovely streaming and talking to you all. Sophia says EST as well, time to head to work, but happy I got to see a bit of the stream. Oh, thank you so much, Sophia, for joining us. I hope you have a good day at work. Or a good shift, I should say. Thank you for joining us. I Aiko says, honestly, I'm down for the stream to be longer so you can finish the entire piece. Yeah, I know. I would like to stream longer to finish the entire piece, but I am getting a little hungry. It's okay, Leo. Good girl. Yeah, there's talking outside. Good girl. So I will probably end up finishing this off camera. Or maybe I'll finish it in the next stream. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm happy with how far I've progressed the painting, honestly, compared to my last stream. It's been a learning curve painting while live streaming. I'm a little bit slower than I am when I'm painting while not live streaming. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave it there for now. It's not complete yet, but we did get pretty far. Still need to fill in some areas, do the ear, add the final highlights. Here, let me turn this. I'm gonna bump the camera for a second, but there. Now it's on autofocus, so I can bring it a little bit closer. So definitely needs some cleaning up. I need to break down the planes of the nose a little bit, but I'm liking how some parts are looking. Yeah, not bad. Not bad for the few hours we did this. Okay, so let's respond to some messages before we end the stream. Listen to the Magnus archives. Thanks so much, Em. Really enjoyed watching your whole process. Thank you so much, and Will. I'm gonna try listening to the Magnus archives. Sophia says, oh yeah, I already read that. Oh, sorry, Anne Will, I missed your message before. Wilderness Mama says, in your opinion, is it okay to start learning color theory with gouache, or is it better to start with grayscale? If you're like a brand new beginner, I think it is always good to start with grayscale. Value studies, just because values are the most important thing, I think in painting. They're so important for showing volume, for showing three dimensions. So I would start there, but you can always sort of do both at the same time, you know, learn in your own way. And if you think you have a good understanding of values, then definitely go into color theory too. Butterfly says, do you have advice for complete beginners? What's the first thing to learn with portraits? I think with portraits, well, I would say start with drawing. Start drawing in your sketchbook, drawing portraits. And there's lots of references out there. There's lots of different methods of drawing the head, constructing the head. There's the Loomis method. And yeah, just look up different methods, try it out. I would say it's also great to study the human skull. So sketch the human skull, because that is going to inform you for, you know, the structure below, the structure underneath. Mr. Tay says, great work. Thank you so much, Mr. Tay. Okay, everyone, so I think I'm gonna call it here. Just a reminder, it's the last day to purchase the brush set at the reduced price on the Craftamo website. The 5% off discount code is going to be deactivated once the stream ends. If there's any final questions, I'll sit here for a little bit before we end, but that's pretty much it. And I'll finish this later. It says we've got 66 people still here. Something magical, just hearts, love that. Thank you for being here, something magical. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed, and yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I really enjoyed streaming. I enjoyed talking to all of you guys. Aiko says, yay, the stream was so fun. Bye, Emily. Have a good rest of your day. You too. Have a great day. You too. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Oh, Joseph says, damn, I missed the most of the stream. Oh, I'm sorry, Joseph. I will be doing this again. Hopefully next week on Friday. Yes, but the live streams do save on the channel under the live tab, so you can always go back and watch the whole thing. I'm sorry you missed it. Andrea says, I'm painting while listening to you. I love your videos. They are very relaxing. You are very talented. Thank you so much. I'm glad you were able to paint along. Oh no, Joseph just clicked in. Yeah, oh, well, thanks for clicking in anyways. Alright guys, I will see you soon in the next video, in the next live stream. I always post when I'm gonna stream on Instagram, on my Instagram stories, so follow me on Instagram if you don't already. I pretty much post everything there, so if you want to keep up with me, it's just at mhughesart on Instagram. And yeah, the Emily Hughes brush set. Last day for the sale price. Thank you guys. Bye. Thank you for joining us.